All right, today we are going to be working with some more another place value idea. 2.NBT.2, I can count within 1,000 by skip counting by 5s, 10s, and 100s. Skip counting is an important skill that we develop in second grade because it makes our math more fluent, and it helps us to be able to count forwards and backwards and make it so we don't have to count by ones. We want to group our numbers so we can count them more easily and more quickly. So first of all, we're going to start by looking at skip counting by tens. So when we do this, looking at the number line here, what we're really doing is we're grouping 10 numbers together, and then we're going to skip over, if we're skip counting by 10, we're going to skip over 9 of them. So if we're skip counting by tens, we're going to, just to start out, we're going to start at 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to skip from 0 and we're going to go over to 10, and that's where we're going to land. So we're skipping the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 when we're counting. So we just don't say those at all. So we go from 0 to 10. So to begin, we would say 0, 10, and then from here, we're going to skip the next 9 numbers. So we're going to skip 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and we're going to go to 20. So we're going to go from 10 to 20. So if we were skip counting, we would say, you don't have to say 0 necessarily, but we know in your brain that we would start at 0, and we would start at 0 and then go to 10 and then go to 20. If we wanted to start at 0, we could go 0, 10, 20, and then the next, we would just skip the next 9 numbers, and we're going to go up to 30. So notice when we're skip counting by tens, there's always a 0 in the ones place. When we're skip counting by tens now, we're on the decuple, which means we're not starting at 1 and skip counting by 10. Right now, we're just starting at 0 and skip counting by tens. We will eventually start at different numbers, but just for this introduction video, we're going to keep it where there's always going to be a 0 in the ones place when we're skip counting by tens. So it would be 10, 20, 30. What would be next? 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3 tens. And we would have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. After 100, we would go to 110, and so on. And really what we're doing, we're just adding a 10. We're skipping the 9 numbers, and we're skip counting that next number, but our tens place is growing by 1. So at 40, we have 4 tens, 50, we have 5 tens, 60, 6 tens, 70, 7 tens, 80, 8 tens, 90, 9 tens, 100, we have 10 tens, 110, we have 11 tens. So let's look at this number. What about 450? We could skip count all the way up to 450. We would know it would have 45 tens. We would have to skip count by 10 45 times to get to 450. Just something to think about there. Now we're going to skip count by 100s, which has the same feel as skip counting by tens, but our number, we're skip counting by 100. It's 10 times bigger than 10. So when we're skip counting by hundreds, the pattern is pretty easy. But the idea is that we're skipping over. Imagine there's 99 little numbers in here. We're skip counting over 99, and we're going straight from 0, and we're going to land on 100. So we would say, if you want to start at 0, you can. You can go 0, 100. And then for 100, we're going to skip over 99 more. We're going to go to 200. So 0, 100, 200. 100 more. 300. 400. 500. 600. 700. 800. 900, 1,000. It just keeps going on and on and on. We're skip counting by 100s. This is a quick way to group numbers together and see how to help us count more quickly. If we were counting pennies, and let's say we had 600 of them, it would take a really long time to count them all one by one. But let's say we had them in groups of 100 already, right? We would say, well, there's 100 here, and then we could go 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. That would be a quick way to count them if we just had piles of pennies. So that is skip counting by 100s. Now I want to spend a little time on counting by fives. Same idea. Instead of skipping over 10 or 100, we're going to skip count by fives, just 5 numbers. So we're going to start at 0, and we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to jump to 5. So we're skipping these numbers, and we're going to jump to 5. But notice, so this means we have 5 ones. Okay, so I'm going to put 5 here just to keep a track of how we're doing. So now we're going to skip over 6, 7, 8, 9 to get to 10. Okay. So I'm going to write that number down. We skip counted by another 5. So to skip over 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip over 11, 12, 13, 14 to get to 15 because we're skip counting by fives. I'm going to put 15 here. Skip count the next 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to jump straight to 20. I'm going to skip over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to get to 25, and we're going to stop here. Now, let's look at our skip counting pattern here that I've written in yellow. We have 5 in the ones place, 0 in the ones place for 10, 5 in the ones place for 15, 0 in the ones place for 20, 5 in the ones place for 25. What's your prediction about what would be in the ones place in the next number? We have a 5, a 0, a 5, a 0, a 5, a 0, a 5. That's right, it's going to be a 0. Now let's look at the tens place. Well, there's nothing in the tens place there. We can imagine that there's a 0 if you want to. So we go 0, 1. So if we looked at this, if we started at, for real 0, and we had 2 digits, we would have a 0 in the tens place, 0 in the ones place, 0 in the tens place, 5 in the ones place. Skip counting by 5 more. We would get a 0 in the ones place and a 1 in the tens place. 1 in the tens place for 15, 5 in the ones place. 2 in the tens place for 20, 0 in the ones place. So if we just look at the tens place, we have 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. What do you think will go here? 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. That's right, it's going to be 3 because we have 3 tens now. It's 30. Our next number would be 35 because we're skip counting by 5. So let's do this again. Let's start at the beginning. We're going to start at 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And you could keep going like that, skip counting by 5s. So let's look, we're going to complete the patterns really quickly here. Let's look at this one. We have 10, 20, 30, blank, 50, 60. Now look at the pattern. Is the ones place changing? It's not. It has zeros in it the whole time. Is the tens place changing? We have 1, 2, 3, blank, 5, 6. So in the tens, we can tell that we're skip counting by tens because we're making jumps of 10 between each of these numbers, right? So 10, 20, 30. What do you think goes next? Yeah, we're going to put 40 here. So we're skip counting by 10 with that pattern. Let's look at the next one. 200, 300, 400, 500, blank, 700, 800. What do you think goes in the blank here? Well, first we need to figure out what we're counting by. We're skip counting by. So if we make a jump here, we go from 200 to 300. How many are we counting by? We're making a jump of 100 because our ones place is 0, our tens place is 0, and my hundreds place is getting bigger by 1 digit, which means it's getting bigger by 100. So I have 200, 300, 400, 500. We're going to have 600 here. We're looking at our patterns, thinking about our number lines, and figuring out how many we've jumped to get to the next number. The last one we have 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Interesting. So let's look at this. Let's look at our ones place. We have a 0, blank, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0. Is our ones place changing or is it staying the same? I hope you said it's changing because it is. So now let's look at our tens place. What's happening in our tens place? We have a 4, a blank, 5, and a 5, 6, and a 6, and a 7. Well, that seems like a pattern maybe we used over here, right? 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 in our tens place here. So I think we're going to be skip counting by 5s because our ones place is getting bigger by 5. It's alternating between 0 and 5. We're going from 0 to 5, so it's getting bigger. And it's getting bigger also because our tens place is also getting bigger. We could go the other way where we count backwards, but we can see that our numbers are getting bigger. They're ascending. So we have 40. So we're counting by 5 more. We can check. So let's put 45 here. Let me clean this up a little bit. And now let's count and see if that makes sense. 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. We got 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0. So that pattern works. And then 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. We can tell that we have 2 5s and a 10. So we're going to have two places where we have the same digit in the tens place in a skip counting by 5 pattern. So we can figure that out. So we're going to get a lot of practice with this. Just wanted to give a little introduction to skip counting and completing patterns.